This is 7 National News. Here are the headlines. RCA commences vaccination campaign of over 2 million children. RAC outlets fined for breaching hygiene laws. And RTA identifies 2 proposed locations for Salek tollgates. And in our top story tonight, volunteers from the UAE Red Crescent Authority have started a campaign to vaccinate over 2 million Pakistani children against measles and polio in coordination with UNICEF. The campaign is funded by Her Highness Sheikha Fatima bint Mubarak, chairwoman of the General Women's Union and the Family Development Foundation. The move comes in line with concerted humanitarian efforts being fostered by the UAE in solidarity with the victims of floods and in translation of the directives of President His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan to support those affected by the floods in Pakistan. The Ras Al Khaimah municipality on Sunday shut down a restaurant and imposed fines to scores of other outlets for breaching food hygiene laws, according to a local newspaper. Fawaz Abdullah, who heads the food control section at RAC municipality, said that 8 outlets were found infringing the rules by the public health inspectors during the inspection campaigns carried out across the emirate. He stressed that some of the violating outlets, which included restaurants, grocery shops, supermarkets and poultry shops, were raided after the civic body received complaints from residents about their continued ignorance of the laws. The fines ranged between 500 and 5,000 dirhams. The Roads and Transport Authority has identified 2 more roads in Dubai to install Salek toll gates to ease traffic congestion. According to a local newspaper, a senior official from the RTA has said that one of the planned locations to have a Salek toll gate is Al Ittihad Road near Dubai Police Headquarters, and the second location is in Al Ghasais. Dubai was the first city in the region to introduce the road toll system in July 2007. Initially, 2 toll gates were installed, one on Sheikh Zayed Road near the Mall of the Emirates and the Sheikh Rashid Road in Al Gahood. Staged in parallel with the Middle East's largest defence exhibition, IDEX, this year's NAVDEX, the Middle East's first premier exhibition dedicated to the naval defence and coastal security sector, is now being held in the capital. IDEX, along with NAVDEX, attracts a growing wealth of international decision-makers from within the defence industry, alongside key representatives from the Navy, government and the private sector. June Wrigley reports.
With political uncertainties in the region and with high oil prices, there is no doubt spending on strategic arms procurement will continue to hit record highs. Arms spending doesn't stop on land. The launch of NAVDEX Naval Exhibition alongside IDEX demonstrates the increasing importance of maritime security and coastal defence throughout the region. According to the International Maritime Bureau, in 2010, 1,181 seafarers were captured, 8 killed, and 53 ships hijacked. This is the highest ever recorded. This growing importance of maritime security has given rise to a significant new naval and coastal guard acquisition program in the region to meet near-term demands.
Maritime security is becoming a vastly increasing requirement. With the proliferation of piracy, we're seeing a lot of fast boats. We're also seeing an increase in homemade submarines and smaller submarines. So that's now creating a 3-dimensional requirement as we look to the broader picture. So not only are we looking above water, we're looking below water, we're looking at the infrastructure protection, particularly along coastlines.
With some of the richest oil and gas producing nations exporting millions of barrels a day, it's not hard to see why safeguarding the Gulf's maritime borders and demand of defence equipment is on the rise. June Wrigley, 7 National News.
Nearly 75% of the calls made by people to 999 do not relate to any kind of emergency. That's according to Dubai police records. During a press conference to launch an awareness campaign on emergency calls, Major General Yassim Bal Ramatha, Director of Operations Room at Dubai Police, said residents should call the toll-free number 901 for non-emergency related issues. The campaign, titled 901 at Your Services, aims to curb the misuse of the emergency call facility. He added that in case of minor road accidents, motorists should go to the nearest police station or wait for the police to arrive at the scene. With a robust food and beverage industry, the UAE has established itself as an important trading hub that continues to attract companies worldwide to conduct business and establish relations, evident at the increased participation in the up-and-coming Gulf Food 2011.
Food industry specialists from Europe and Asia reiterated their support to the MENASA region's growing food and beverage sector. Countries such as the US, France, Singapore, and Egypt report considerable gains in 2010 and announced their increased participation for this year's Gulf Food. They say Dubai is definitely the place to be.
The UAE market is a very important one, both for the domestic market, which is very diversified, high purchasing power, but also for the role of Dubai as a platform, the trade and logistic platform to the whole region, down to Africa and India. Last year, our exports, food exports to the Emirates have grown 15% on 1 year to reach 200 million euros.
I expect that our food stuff will be increased because everybody is admire about what's happening in Egypt. So to translate this admiration into a fact, everybody's going to buy Egyptian products. So buy Egypt's food. So I think we will export more.
A total of 40 Singapore companies will be participating in Gulf Food 2011. Now this is almost doubled the figure that we had in last year's Gulf Food. For this year's Gulf Food, we'll be introducing 17 product launches, of which 4 will be global launches, and these comprises of sauces, edible oil, and snacks.
Event organizers also added that this year's participation saw a 10% increase compared to last year's, with a record of 3,800 exhibitors. More than 100 countries will be represented, with many coming from emerging economies. Given the rising prices of commodities, this event, according to organizers, can only benefit everyone, from the manufacturers to the traders and eventually the consumers.
We've seen most countries across the board increasing their exports to the region, which is evidence of the region's importance in the industry and growth, and also evidence that none of the regional unrest has caused any impact on this particular industry.
Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry also added that with Gulf Food now considered as the world's largest annual food and beverage trade event, the economic and tourism sector is also expected to benefit significantly.
There can be, more attraction for these companies to do more business in the whole region. So we believe that through Gulf Food and such high-level events, we'll be able to promote Dubai more and more as international business hub and attract more businesses to come to Dubai, do business with Dubai and with the whole region.
If today's event is anything to go by, it is without a doubt that leading food manufacturing nations see the UAE as well as the GCC and Middle East regions as one of its most important markets. Each one reaffirmed its growing interest and support. Thus, the 16th edition of Gulf Food is deemed to be bigger, with hopes of making significant sales as well as important trade deals beginning from the 27th of February. Khadija Sali, 7 National News.
And in world news, Peruvian army and police forces initiated an operation to destroy illegal gold dredges on the rivers of the southern Amazon region of Madre de Dios. Some 400 members of the Peruvian Navy and 600 agents from the police force arrived at the site of the illegal mining, where they began destroying and taking over the dredges. Peruvian Minister of the Environment, Antonio Brack, said illegal gold mining is a profitable business. According to the Environment Ministry, about 20,000 hectares of Peruvian rainforest are destroyed, and 45 tons of mercury pollute the rivers every year due to illegal gold mining. And over in New Zealand, authorities said a pod of over 100 pilot whales that were stranded on a remote beach died on Sunday, according to a press release by the Department of Conservation. Authorities had to put down 47 pilot whales. They found still alive due to the remote location where they were discovered and a lack of resources to rescue the animals. The Department of Conservation said 107 whales were found beached on New Zealand's South Island by tourists who raised the alarm. More than half were dead by the time they were discovered. And later on, we find out about the most expensive apartment in the world. But up next, Linda Berenger has the day's business news.